we're talking about a topic that's way more relevant than any other day before, because when we take a look at how the transformation has happened with regard to going from content to that matter, commerce, we are definitely talking about chasing growth. And when we talk about the word growth, it's only befitting that we associate it with one of the leaders who's in the midst of all of this. We're talking about Yvonne Spiegel, CEO and co-founder, Snap Inc. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure all of us know of his prolific experience and the fact that how he started it off and how he has managed to create that kind of transformation for all of us across all age groups, for that matter. As we're all aware, Snap Inc. is a camera company that believes in reinventing the camera, representing their greatest opportunity in order to improve the way people live and communicate. In fact, their products empower people to express themselves, live in the moment, learn about the world, and have fun altogether. I can tell one thing safely for sure. We're going to have a hashtag no filter conversation over here. And this particular conversation is being spearheaded by none other than Samidha Sharma, editor, Startups, an Emerging Business, The Economic Times. Ladies and gentlemen, from content to commerce, let's talk about chasing growth with none other than Yvonne Spiegel in conversation with Samidha Sharma.
Hi, Evan. Thanks so much for joining us here today at the Global Business Summit. Great to see you again.
It's great to see you, and thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So, Evan, just wanted to obviously begin with whatever's happening with Russia's attack on Ukraine. I know Snap has put out a statement of late saying they've stopped all advertising and business out of Russia. Tell us a little about, how you're looking at, whatever's happening in terms of the geopolitical concerns right now, and how is Snap sort of reacting to it in the next few weeks or so?
Well, it's just been an absolutely heartbreaking time for our team. We've got, about 300 folks who are based out of Ukraine, and actually Snap's augmented reality platform really came out of a product called Luxury that was built in Ukraine. And so for a very long time, we've gotten to know the Ukrainian people. They're our friends, they're our team members. And so this has just been an extremely difficult and heartbreaking time. And our number one priority has really just been on the health and safety of our team members. So trying to, relocate folks, obviously, in the lead up to the conflict, and now working with folks who are still in the country. And, of course, through all of that, trying to maintain business continuity. But, ultimately, this is just a heartbreaking and really difficult time. And, as expected, it's continued to get worse. So, we're just praying for our team members over there, trying to do the best we can to support them, and, praying for peace, frankly.
So, Evan, the other thing that everyone's sort of talking about is the role of tech companies at a time like this, and we've seen most of the big tech, taking a stand, against Russia. There's also been a lot of conversations around misinformation on social media. I mean, what are the kind of things that you guys have internally sort of devised at a time like this? So that your users are sort of informed rightly?
Well, it's definitely been inspiring to see the entire global community, as you say, and not just technology companies, come together to do everything they can to support Ukraine in this time. And of course, accurate information is a big part of that. And that's one of the reasons why, since the beginning, we've operated a curated content platform. And so what we realized is that people who are just hanging out and talking with their friends should be held to a very different standard than broadcasters who are broadcasting to a really large audience, potentially of millions of people. And so we make sure that that people who are broadcasting content to millions of people comply with our content guidelines, and we choose who's allowed to do that. So unlike open social media platforms where anyone can post anything to millions of people, Snap actually has a closed and curated content platform. And so that actually helps us partner with really talented journalism teams all around the world to provide accurate and timely information to our community, which is just so important, especially in times like these.
So I just want to shift gears a bit, Evan, talk a little about India. You actually had a lot of, you mentioned India in your earnings call last quarter, and you said that the expansion efforts in India actually continue to prove to be successful, and you were using your learnings to inform how you approach community growth in new geographies. Tell us a little about what these learnings are, and also how you're using them in different markets, what you've seen in India.
Well, it's just been so fun to get to know the Indian people, the Indian culture. I remember, we a long time ago, we introduced a new product called Our Stories, which for the first time combined together snaps created by all sorts of different people into one cohesive story. And I'll never forget seeing the Our Story of Diwali and all of these lanterns floating up into the air from, tons of different perspectives all around India. And it really excited me, about the opportunity to grow in India because the culture itself and really the vibrance of the people really lends itself to visual communication. It's hard to capture that feeling and that emotion of watching all those lanterns soar into the sky in words, right? It's almost unimaginable. And what's been so exciting to see is the way that Snapchat has been able to capture just the visual richness of India and really empower a new way of communicating between people. So that's been something that we were really excited about. And then of course, we built a local team and we worked to create locally relevant content and AR experiences. I think one of the things I've been most excited about is the way we've worked with colleges and high schools to help teach people how to build AR experiences themselves. And so now there are all sorts of lens creators across India building amazing AR experiences, for their friends and for the broader community. And of course, beyond that, we've done a lot of really great partnerships, which I'm sure we can talk more about. But it's been a long journey for us, and just so exciting to see the way the product has been used to transform the way people communicate visually.
So, which are the other geographies you talk about here, Evan, in terms of using the India learnings and sort of taking them there?
There are lots of different places where we've built out local teams. We obviously have a very large business in Europe, a large business in the Middle East. Increasingly, we're starting to think about growing our business in Southeast Asia and Africa. But I think what's really been exciting about India is it's one of the first places we made a really big bet when we were a startup. And it's when you're a startup, it's really expensive to make a big bet, to build a new team in a totally new country and invest in localized content. You don't know how it's going to work out. And so for us, India has been just a really great place to learn about how to grow our business by creating locally relevant experiences.
Talk a little about the advertising revenue and how sort of India also ranks for Snap, in terms of those metrics, because we know the DAOs and the MAUs that most tech companies garner from India. It's massive. I mean, you spoke about 100 million as your monthly active user base. How is all of this kind of also showing up in terms of your business growing here?
Yeah, well, advertisers, of course, follow our audience. And so when we're able to build our audience, as you mentioned, 100 million people across India, it's now become much more exciting for brands to partner with us and leverage our advertising platform to reach their consumers. So it's still very early for us, I will say, as we're growing our business in India. And our primary focus has really just been on the product experience to date. So I think we'll continue to focus on the product experience and really run experiments with brands who want to reach our audience. And reaching the 13 to 34 audience is such a priority for companies around the world, and especially in India, because they represent the next generation of consumers and their relationships that advertisers can build over the long term. So that's obviously been really an advantage for us because of the way that young people are engaging with Snapchat. And so we're excited to continue to serve our advertising partners.
You're also reaching 9-year-olds, Evan, like I was mentioning. My 9-year-old niece was super excited that I was interviewing you. I don't think she said that to me ever before.
Well, tell her thank you, and tell her she has to wait till she's 13 to use our service, please.
I know. So, when you talk about advertisers, the last time we spoke, you launched a bunch of these brand partnerships. Give us an update, in terms of how a lot of these brands, you spoke about Zomato, Flipkart, a bunch of others. How are they using augmented reality? Can you give us an update on that front?
Yeah, it's such a great question. It's something we're really excited about. And in particular, one of our big focuses has been augmented reality shopping, because AR is a really exciting way to see if you like a product. In the past, when you were just using the desktop internet, you had to look at little pictures even of people, wearing clothes and things like that to see if it was a good fit or see if it was something you wanted to buy. Now with augmented reality, you can try on that clothing yourself without even having to change your outfit, right? Just using your phone, you can visualize how something looks. And of course, what we see is that leads to much higher conversion rates, and people buying products at a higher rate. So now what we're trying to do is scale those AR shopping efforts, because what we find is that many brands either don't have 3D assets, or it can be very expensive to create and manage 3D assets. So a lot of the work that we're doing right now is to make that easier, help brands develop these 3D assets in a seamless way, and then convert those into augmented reality try-on experiences. So we're really excited to expand AR shopping with Flipkart, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
You also spoke last time about how the push towards Android really sort of was a game changer here in India for you. Tell us, is there more that's happening on the device front as well? Are you trying to sort of do more to embed Snapchat or do any of those ecosystem plays here?
That's definitely been a priority for us. And one of the things that we've done a bit of lately are partnering with OEMs together to provide Snapchat augmented reality experiences directly in the smartphone camera. So rather than even having to download Snapchat, you can just open up your Samsung phone into the Samsung camera and use lenses there. And that's been really fun because it's helped expose way more people to augmented reality if they haven't had a chance to download Snapchat. And of course, we're doing a lot of other things to help improve distribution of Snapchat, like preload deals, for example. So Snapchat comes installed on different devices, and we'll continue, of course, to expand our augmented reality partnerships.
Evan, also wanted to talk to you about whatever is happening in the creator economy. I mean, it's sort of really become massive, for social media companies, and you also have again spoken about it. You said that Snap was making sort of efforts over the past year to organize its team and make investments in its products to realize monetization and community growth opportunities. Talk a little about that, and do you have any India updates as far as your efforts around creator economy monetization goes?
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the really exciting things has, of course, been the rollout of Spotlight, which allows anyone to reach a really large audience on Snapchat with user-generated content and be rewarded for it. So one of the really exciting things that we've done is take the top performing videos with Spotlight, the videos that get the most views, and then directly pay the creators who have been making those videos. And that's been really well received by our community and led to a lot of growth of Spotlight in India. And of course, we're rolling out other ways to reward creators. Things like gifting, for example, have been really fun. So if you're watching a creator's story and you really enjoy it, you can start a conversation with them and send them a gift to show your appreciation. And of course, we also help creators attach shops to their stories so that they can sell merchandise. And I think what's really important is to offer all sorts of different creators different ways to monetize that really work for them and their creative style.
And what's been your feedback from India and from your India team in terms of creators engaging on your platform?
There's certainly been a lot of excitement around Snapchat. And I think one of the things that makes Snapchat so unique is just the authentic way that creators are able to engage with their communities and with their fans. Snapchat's never had public likes and comments in our stories. So there's less pressure to feel pretty and perfect when you're posting. And so what we often find is that people feel like they get to know the creator for real, get to know their true self. And I think that that's something that's really appealing to creators and of course to their fans. So that's sort of behind the scenes access to the way that somebody really feels, I think is special and unique to Snapchat and helps build that bond with creators.
That takes me to, I obviously want to discuss a bit about, again, you commented recently how TikTok really was the future of social media, and you've seen that within Snap as well. People are consuming more of Spotlight, compared to Stories, which was obviously, your big flagship, sort of feature. how are you looking at, obviously the way TikTok has kind of transformed social media consumption and, this whole creator economy, etc. And where do you see social media kind of go, in the next 3 to 4 years? Is it what you said? Is it going to be more spotlight and less of stuff like stories going forward?
Spotlight and Stories are totally different products, and Spotlight is still an enormous business for us and much bigger, obviously, than Spotlight. Even though Spotlight is growing faster, Stories really, was built for friends, right? People that just wanted to share, their day-to-day adventures with the people who are close to them. And I think it continues to play a really important a role in people's lives, where people can see what their friends are up to, and then the stories disappear. And so people feel like they can be a new person when they wake up in the morning. They can continue to grow. And of course, as I mentioned, there are no likes and comments, so there's no pressure to compete with your friends to look pretty or perfect. You can just be yourself on stories. I think Spotlight offers something totally different to creators, which is the ability to reach a really large audience, even if you don't already have a following. So a lot of times established creators, can build an audience with stories by having people subscribe. But if you're a totally new creator to Snapchat and you don't yet have an audience on stories, you need a way to build that audience. And Spotlight plays that role. So if somebody makes a really funny video and they add it to Spotlight and people love it, they can grow their audience really, really quickly. They can get more subscribers because the best videos, the most entertaining videos on Spotlight are the ones that get the most views. And so I do think this is a new paradigm for social media, that video content is distributed on its merits rather than on the number of followers. And that's a big deal for creativity because it allows any creator, regardless of how famous they are, to be successful.
So what happens to something like, the genesis of where it sort of all started? And, we've spoken about this, about privately sharing. I mean, now that creator economy, monetization, all of this is becoming such a huge part of what you do, what Instagram does, and obviously what TikTok is doing. What happens to the smaller, segment of people who are not in the creator economy or only on social media to share among their friends and family?
I think what's interesting is that's not actually the smaller segment of people. That's most people. Most people aren't professional creators. Most people don't want necessarily to be a professional creator. They want to be entertained and watch some of that content. But what they do every day is communicate with their friends and family. And that's why we focus so clearly at Snapchat on empowering that communication, that visual communication between close friends and family, offering products like stories that allow you to share your day, with the people who mean the most to you. And, we continue to innovate on that and provide products for people who want to maintain those close relationships with friends. I think the map is a great example. What we saw was that people were messaging each other a lot saying, hey, what are you up to? When are you going to be home? What are you doing? And instead of texting people back and forth, you can just check the map and see what your friends are up to every day. And so that's been another exciting way, to help people stay in touch and communicate together. So I think as we look at Snapchat overall and really the opportunity for our business, we're very, very focused on empowering that communication between close friends and family. But we still see an opportunity for the people who do want to build a business as a creator, who do want to make entertaining content with our AR camera and all of our really cool editing tools. If they want to do that, we can provide a career path for them, using products like Spotlight and Stories as well. So I think it's really about, serving this subset of creators who are really passionate about reaching a big audience and then providing really entertaining content to our community. So when they're not talking to their friends, they have something fun and exciting to watch.
Evan, are you at all watching, what's happening with local social media players in India post, the TikTok ban? Is there anything that, you're interested in, any asset that looks sort of attractive to you? Is there any plan for an acquisition or consolidation of any sort?
Well, we've seen a lot of great opportunities to partner. So we have this new SDK out called Camera Kit, which brings all of our augmented reality effects to other people's applications. And so we partnered recently with an application called Moj, which is a short video app, and brought our Camera Kit AR effects to their camera. And immediately they saw a really significant growth in content creation. I think about 25%. So that's a big deal, just by integrating our augmented reality effects. And so I think in that way, Snapchat can really support the local startup ecosystem, all of these new short video players that are emerging. And of course, we're excited to continue working with more partners and to bring our augmented reality technology to them.
Would it be restricted to partnerships, Evan, or are you looking at some sort of investment, strategic play as well in India?
We've certainly made strategic investments in the past, and we may do so again in the future. We're always trying to learn more. There's so much incredible innovation and entrepreneurship happening in India, so we always feel like we have a lot to learn. But I can't say specifically any deal we're working on right now. Just that we really love building those partnerships, and that's usually a way for us to get to know people and see if there's a bigger strategic opportunity in the future.
So I'm going to wrap up by asking you about regulations in India around data policy, privacy. A lot of the big tech firms like Meta, Twitter, Facebook, Google, everybody has sort of spoken about how they're worried, they have reservations around especially content regulation. And how to kind of monitor that, and if you can be penalized, etc. How are you looking at what's happening in India in terms of regulations for social media companies like yourself?
First of all, I think tech platforms have an enormous responsibility, right? They reach a huge audience, they help people connect with one another, and I think tech platforms have a responsibility to try to make a positive impact on society overall. I think one of the things, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, that's helped us is that we self-regulate our content. So we already proactively curate the content that's widely distributed on our platform through things like Discover or Spotlight. And so I think by imposing that on ourselves, we feel more confident that we can make a positive impact on society and not have as many challenges around, distributing misinformation widely and things like that. And I would say, in addition to that, we've really tried to cultivate a positive and constructive relationship with governments around the world, because what we find is that governments are very focused on developing a digital economy. They understand those benefits very tangibly. But I think they want that economy to develop in a responsible way. And so as long as we have an open dialogue with governments and with regulators, as long as we really understand their concerns and we make sure that our products, we're doing the best that we can to make a positive impact, I continue to believe that, we can really grow our business, make a positive impact, and play a role in helping people develop digital economies.
Is your team in India having any dialogues with the government here as far as privacy legislations go? Is there any talk ongoing? How is your sort of team here engaging with the government?
I sure hope they are. I don't know any specifics at this time, but privacy has been so important to us from the very beginning. I mean, more than 10 years now. I remember in the beginning when we talked about things like ephemerality, right? This idea that we delete your data, after somebody views an image, and that we try to store as little data as possible. That was seen as very strange because every other technology company at the time was collecting as much data and storing it for as they could and storing it for as long as possible. And so Snapchat was always really different in that way. And I think that's something that we've always tried to, innovate on top of, and certainly has impacted the way that we've developed our advertising platform, for example, where we've tried to offer, very high return on investment advertising products while using the minimal possible amount of user data to achieve that. And I think that's just built into our DNA really as a business. So it's exciting to see that people now, 10 plus years later are starting to get focused on privacy. They understand the impacts it has on maintaining and developing a free and open society. And so I think that's certainly been, really refreshing and exciting to see folks engage on this topic. And we hope to continue to have, an open dialogue.
Right. Great. Evan, thanks a lot for taking our time today. I hope to see you soon in India in person. Thanks a lot for doing this.
Thanks so much. See you soon. I really appreciate it.
Bye.